Today in this video, I am going to explain how the rise of Chinese economy took place. First, let us see the location of China. It is a landlocked country surrounded by a number of countries like Mongolia, Nepal, India, Korea, Myanmar, Vietnam, etc. It consists of as many as 31 states, although it has got only one time zone. It is the third major center of power, only after USA and UK. China's economic success since 1978 has established it as a great power. China has been the fastest growing economy since the reforms first began there. It is projected to overtake the US as the world's largest economy by 2040. Its economic integration into the region leads to its enormous influence in regional affairs. Other factors such as large population, land, and political influence adds to its power. Through this graph, you can see that how it has risen to power. Before analyzing China's success, let us see the history of China. China was also colonized by the European nations just like India. In fact, China was cut into pieces by all these European nations, which is popularly known as cutting of the Chinese melon. After the Opium War, China got independence only in 1949. In fact, after India. But the communist rule, which was established in China under the leadership of great leader Mao Zedong, brought China to the forefront of all the nations. Chinese economy, they try to base it on Soviet model, as both the countries are socialist. It took aid and advice from the USSR. The model was to create a state-owned, heavy industrial sector from the capital accumulated from agriculture. So that main agriculture was their main base of their economy. As it was not having enough foreign exchange to buy technology and goods from the world market, China decided to give importance to domestic goods and gave importance to domestic industries. Employment and social welfare was assured to all citizens. China moved ahead of most developing countries in the field of education and made it an endeavor to educate all its citizens and give them better health care. Economy also was growing at a good rate of 5 to 6%, but the drawback was its population. As the population was growing with a rate of 2 to 3%, the result was the economic growth was not sufficient to meet the requirements of the growing population. Like Soviet Union, China too was facing crisis. Its industrial production was not growing fast enough, international trade was minimal, and per capita income was very low. But unlike Soviet Union, which led to disintegration in 1991, China took wise decisions and did not introduce shock therapy. The Chinese leadership took major policy decisions in 1970s. China ended its political and economic isolation with the establishment of relations with the US in 1972. They felt that taking aid assistance from US is not bad. Their premier, Zhao Enlai, proposed 4 modernization program. He said, if we modernize our agriculture, industries, science and technology, and our military field, there is no doubt that China will be lagging behind. So he introduced these 4 modernization programs in the year 1973. Another great leader who came after him was Deng Xiaoping, who adopted the policy of open door. That means till that time China was closed. They were not inviting any foreign investment or they were not taking any technical help from outside world. But Deng realized that it is better to take help from the Western countries. They adopted a policy to generate higher productivity by investment of capital and technology from abroad. China did not go for shock therapy, but opened their economy step by step gradually. The privatization of agriculture in 1982 was followed by privatization of industries in 1998. Trade barriers were eliminated only in special economic zones where foreign investors could set up enterprises. Although privatization was, you can say they wanted to do it, but still state continued to play central role in setting up market economy and guiding the people. Deng Xiaoping was a prominent Chinese politician and a reformer of the Communist Party of China. He led the People's Republic of China from 1978 to 1992. With this graph, you can see that under his leadership, how the Chinese economy rose to great heights. With the four modernization program of agriculture, science, technology, industry, and military, China started growing fast in their economy. Deng's strategy for developing China into a modern industrial nation was the development of the socialist market economy, a combination of government's planning and free market. So, state was also controlling, at the same time they were inviting foreign investors as well. His new strategy emphasized policies that proved effective over policies that were ideologically pure and endorsed by Mao Zedong. In 1982, for example, Deng abolished the use of communes. Communes were the small, you can say, groups within the Chinese economy, which was seen by Mao and other communists as an essential part of the Chinese socialist system, because communes were an idea endorsed by communists throughout history and the world. Since communes proved successful during the Great Leap Forward and the Cultural Revolution, Deng stopped the practice. Other Chinese leaders would have continued Mao's policies because they referred him as country's father and thought that he could do no wrong. On May 20th, Deng Xiaoping, as chairman of the Central Military Commission, declared martial law. He suspended the law in favor of military order. But the demonstration continued. The decision by Communist Party leaders to use military force caused deep division in the government. Even the military was reluctant to oppose the students. So soldiers and tanks from 27 to 28th armies of the People's Liberation Army, which were based in rural areas, were sent to take control of the city. These forces were confronted by Chinese students in the streets of Beijing, and ensuing violence resulted in both civilian and army deaths. It is considered to be the black chapter in the Chinese history when so many students died. But one incident could not stop the Chinese economy. New economic policies helped the Chinese economy to break from stagnation. Privatization of agriculture led to remarkable rise in agriculture production and rural incomes. High personal savings in rural economy led to an exponential growth in rural industry. The Chinese economy, including both industry and agriculture, grew at a faster rate. The new trading laws and the creation of SEZ zones led to phenomenal rise in foreign trade. China has become the most important destination for foreign direct investment, whereas wherever in the world, because of its large foreign exchange reserves, it started investing in other countries. China even became the member of WTO in 2001, has been a further step in its opening to the outside world and shape the future world economic order. China is also the permanent member of UN. This shows Chinese power and growth in the world affairs. Although Chinese economy has improved dramatically, but not everyone in China has received the benefits of the reforms. Unemployment has risen in China with 100 million people looking for jobs. Female employment and conditions of work were as bad as in Europe of 18th and 19th centuries. Environmental degradation, pollution was the main cause of the bad health of the people. Corruption was also increasing. There was a sharp rise in economic inequality between rural and urban residents and the coastal and inland provinces. Still, if we have to summarize, China has become an economic power regionally and globally. We cannot overlook it. It has considerable influence on its trade and partners. Its outstanding issues with Japan, the US, ASEAN, and Russia have been tempered by economic considerations. It hopes to resolve its differences with Taiwan, which is regarded as a renegade power, by integrating it closely into its economy. You can see the Great Wall of China being depicted in this cartoon, which is growing and engulfing the entire world. Nobody is there to stop its growth, which is emerging fast. China has also contributed to the stability of ASEAN economy after 1997 financial crisis. Its investment and aid policies in Latin America and Africa are projecting it as a global player on the side of developing economies. You can see the various pictures shown over here. In the cartoons which are shown toward the right hand side, you can see the first one, that is Mao. He is holding the red book, that is the book of communist. How China has changed from that to the modern China now, where Hue Li, the capitalist, is wearing the red tie. That means Communist parties, with the help of the Western help technology, has emerged as a great power. The bicycle which is shown here is depicting the China, which is the largest producer and consumer of bicycle. It is using both, that is the capitalist and the socialist ideology, to make the country a successful country in the region.